Hey, this is Gil. I'm back with another little video to sort of recap what's been going on in the shop. I've shown a couple of projects on my videos, and a couple of people have actually asked me. They've seen other things in here that they were curious about, so I thought I'd sort of pan around the building, sort of show you what else is going on in here. As you can see, I collect all kinds of various knick-knack and junk and things. So what's going on over here is we've got a couple of projects going on. I've got an old Belgian rabbit ear shotgun that I'm currently working on, sort of redoing the stock. And then I'm always carving these little crucifix I'm working on. That's got a little ways to go. He's been sort of put on hold for right now because I've got another big project, which is the Model T. And then we've got our handy dandy Mexican skeleton from the Day of the Dead ceremony. One of my neighbors gave this to me, and he was missing a leg. As you can see, this is about all that was left of his left leg. And so, actually it's his right leg, facing it to the left though. And so I had to carve another leg and sort of paint it to match. So there he is, kind of walking around the shop. In the back corner you see an old Franklin stove. Now this was going to be the heater for the shop, but after stripping it and sanding it down, I am going to put some stove polish on it, but it's missing the grate, so it's going to have to wait for a while before it goes into action, if it does at all. So we still have our handy dandy jumbo potbelly stove, which I really like and Buddy really likes. He likes sitting in it sitting in the rocking chair next to it on a chilly day, and it's kind of chilly outside today, so we've got a little fire going on in there. You can see down in there, kind of keeping things toasty. Going over to the main event, which is what I've been working on, of course, is our Model T here. Okay, here she is, missing front wheel, which I've removed. I'm currently working on it. And one thing I've learned about the Model T is that each wooden wheel is kind of like a little piece of furniture. Now I'm going to give you a look at the rear wheels. Here's your rear passenger side wheel, and this wheel actually came from a fellow named Denny Benning out of Indiana. Okay, when I bought my Model T, Jenny, I noticed that the rear wheels were very, very loose. Okay, I'll give you a look. Take a look at these spokes. I'm going to pull on that hub, and you can see how loose they are. Okay, and I thought about the idea of shimming them up. Okay, which is what some of the guys do. I made a little spoke jack here. And what you do is you put the spoke jack in between the spokes and the felloe, and you tighten it up. Say hello to Buddy. Buddy wants to see what's going on here. Hey, Buddy, good boy, okay? And then once you tighten it up, you put little shims there to tighten up the spokes. But I didn't like that idea. It didn't seem like it was going to last, so I decided to go ahead and look around, and I ran across Denny Benning's ad on the Model T forum. And Denny Benning is a good guy. He's actually a Model A guy. He's got, I believe, a 28 Model A. But he cleaned out a barn in Indiana, and he was given these wheels. So I bought them from him, and he shipped them in. You should have seen the packing job he did on these things. It was incredible. And when I got them, I knew right off that they were front wheels. Okay, as you can see, the front wheel, because I've actually made this into a front wheel temporarily. Okay, I simply placed the hub in there for storage, but the front wheel hub is completely different from the rear wheel hub. And as you can also see, the rear wheels have brake drums, the front wheels don't. So I had to press out the old front hubs, which was done by very gently tapping on each spoke after removing the hub plate and all the bolts. I put a little block of wood on each spoke and gently tapped it a little bit at a time, and as I went all the way around, they came out about maybe an eighth of an inch each time, and after about maybe a half an hour of tapping all the way around, I eventually got the hubs out, okay? The idea being that I could remove the old front hubs and press in my original rear hubs, okay? Now that wasn't easy. I had to break all the carriage bolts loose, but I got them all loose, got the hubs out, and then the next thing was I was going to soda blast these wheels, but after doing a lot of research and looking at what some of the guys in the Model T forums say, I didn't think it was a very good idea. It looks like, even from the videos I've seen, it looks like by soda blasting these, the spokes come out looking like driftwood. It really tears the grain up. So I went ahead and just stripped them on my own with a chemical stripper and then sanded them, okay? Now, once I finished stripping and sanding them, I gave each spoke a coat of Deft wood sealer, and then I gave them 3 coats of marine urethane, okay? So it really should be able to withstand the weather outside. Now, it's going to mostly be inside the shop anyway. Now, if you notice, the red rim around this, okay, now I'm saying this to people who aren't familiar with Model Ts, this is the separate rim that the tire actually mounts to, okay, this right here, okay? What this is called, this part here is called the felloe, okay? This is your hub right here, and of course these are the spokes, and here's your brake drum back here, okay? So the way a Model T wheel is assembled is that you have the 12 spokes, and they are held in by the felloe, which is this black rim right here, and the hub, okay? And then you put your carriage bolts through there. They go all the way through the hub plate, through the spokes, through the brake drum, and then there's a nut that goes over that. You tighten it down, and then you take a hammer and you peen down the end of the bolt so that it won't be able to back out, okay? So that's done. Now I'm eventually going to paint this rim. It'll be silver, okay? Originally these would have been galvanized or maybe zinc plated, but the tire actually mounts to this rim, and then it bolts over the felloe. You see, here are your lugs that go through. They go through the felloe and onto the rim, okay? Give you a look at what a rim looks like without a tire on it. Here's where the spare is, okay? And of course there's no tire on it. So I'm currently working on the front wheels, okay? And that's another big project. So both of the rear wheels are complete. I'm working on the front wheels, and thank God for the guys in the Model T forum, okay? Because the other day when I went to remove the front wheels, I was turning and turning, practically breaking my arm using a big long bar, and I finally said I better stop before something breaks, either me or the spindle. And I looked online and I posted my question, and of course the Model T guys told me that the problem was that the front wheel spindle is threaded in the opposite direction. So I was turning counterclockwise, thinking that it was the way to go. So thanks to Steve Jelf and Martin Vowell, I went ahead and turned them to the right, and they came right off. I want to show you the condition of the original Timken roller bearings, okay? Take a look at this. This is beautiful, okay? It's probably the original bearing, okay? From what I understand, the original bearings were so over-engineered that they usually don't need to be changed. But the bearing is threaded, okay? And you unscrew, once you unscrew this castle nut, okay, then you unscrew the bearing using the original Model T tools, okay? So this tool unscrews the castle nut, and then it also unscrews the bearing. It's also used to unscrew the hubcap, okay? Goes right there. And as I mentioned in the previous video, this is one of the tools that I discovered when I was cleaning out an old animal stall next to the shop. So as I say, I'm currently working on the front wheels. And here's the front wheel so far, okay? You can see that I've stripped off most of the red paint. I'm using a handy dandy Mardi Gras cup as a holder. Living in New Orleans, you get hundreds of these accumulated, okay? And it fits just perfectly. One thing that you have to do is if you're refinishing and stripping an old spoke wheel and you still got the hubs in, you really want to protect the openings where the bearings go, okay? So I've left the hubcap on here, and I've sealed underneath with masking tape and foil, and I've stuffed a rag in there, and I'm just gradually going through sanding each spoke after applying 3 coats of strippies on each spoke. And once that's done, I'll be sealing and varnishing them, okay? Once they're sealed and varnished, I'll be buying some new tires, okay? I'll be putting new tires in the front, and I'll eventually be replacing the rear tires, and of course, buying a tire for the spare as well. I was hoping to run across some used tires locally, because I know that the 26 Model Ts take the same tires as the 28 Model As. But so far I haven't been able to come across anything, so I guess I'll have to buy them. Anyway, that's the way she's going so far. I'll just give you an overall look before I sign off, okay? I know I've rambled for a long time. So here she is. And she's happy about the way things are going. She's got her handy dandy 1926 license plate. And it's funny the way people see this license plate and they automatically compliment me on how well preserved it is from coming from Vermont with the salted roads. Of course, it's not really from Vermont. It came from Mississippi, but the license plate came from Vermont. Buddy, I want you to say hello before I sign off. Come on, buddy boo. Come see, boy. There's a good boy. Okay. Oh, come on now. Well, Buddy's being a little camera shy. Okay, so I'm following him. Anyway, thanks for your attention, and have a good day.